But all right, let's talk about this now. They are raising funds and shaving heads. That's what's happening right here this Saturday at Hess Brewing. So that's going to be happening in North Park, a fun event to help with a serious cause. And we have Mike Hess himself joining us now to talk about how you can get involved. Good morning to you, Mike. What a treat to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Hey. Thanks so much. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're glad. So this is a St. Baldrick's head shaving fundraiser. Such an important cause, raising funds for pediatric cancer research. Tell us why this is near and dear to your heart.
Well, it's near and dear to our heart because we're in the cancer world. Our daughter, Keely, was diagnosed with cancer in the fall of 2018 when she was 12. She had osteosarcoma, or was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. And while she was going through the treatment, we looked into the treatment that she was getting, of course, as all parents would. They want the best care for their child. And we found out that it's very interesting. All kids across the country going through cancer get the same treatment. So there's no like, this doctor says that, or this doctor says the other thing. That's very interesting. The other thing that was really interesting was that we found that there had been no advancements at all in the treatment for osteosarcoma in 35 years. Wow. So literally the same treatment they were doing in the 1980s. They're doing on children today in the 2020s. And we just thought that was untenable. And looking into it, we found that there was just no real dollars flowing towards pediatric cancer research. And so we started that as our cause, one of the main causes that we raise money for at the brewery.
Yeah, you would think there would be more research and more money to, I mean, pediatric cancer, that's something we hope no one ever has to go through. And I'm sorry for what you guys have had to deal with your, daughter. What a struggle for you guys. Tell us about this kind of support that you see. I mean, so many people want to come out and help. How does that help?
The response has been amazing. You know, we did this event with St. Baldrick's in 2019. This is an organization that has been hosting these head shaving fundraisers across the country since 2005. They've raised about $350 million for pediatric cancer research in the existence of St. Baldrick's. We did it in 2019. We raised $72,000 on a single day. That's our largest single day fundraising record as a brewery. This year, our goal is $100,000. We're at about 27,000 as we sit this morning. Which isn't a bad spot. We've got 20 people who are shaving, including men and women, and we've got some guys who are getting their beards shaved who haven't shaved their beards. In fact, one guy now hasn't shaved his beard in more than 45 years.
What?
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I mean, really, people are rallying around it because this really does, as you mentioned, affect so many people, right? It's likely that you know a kid who's had leukemia or osteo or one of these other diseases, and you understand the effect that it has on these families. And pediatric cancer research just gets short shrift when it comes to federal budgeting for cancer research. They get some of the general monies, but really only 4% of the entire cancer budget that the feds put out goes to all pediatric cancer types combined. So that's where organizations like St. Baldrick's and many others that are private that are funding research are so important.
Well, only 4%. And the last thing you want to see happen is for a young person to go through that struggle and that pain. I mean, the treatment, I'm sure it's not easy. If you could just briefly describe that. I mean, it's something they've been doing since the 80s, you said. What is that treatment?
Yeah. Well, the treatment, of course, varies by cancer type, but for osteo, I will say, having personal experience, it's very brutal. Keely went through, so she was diagnosed on a Friday. On the next Wednesday, she had a port put in, and she started chemo 2 days later. And she did 6 rounds of chemo, methotrexate, cisplatin, and doxorubicin, and she did 6 rounds of that at Rady. She also then went to UC Davis to have a specialized surgery, which ended up involving removing her left leg above her knee. And then she came back down here to Rady for 12 more rounds of chemotherapy. It's brutal. She lost about 25% of her body weight during that time. There were many times during the treatment that we thought that she wasn't going to make it through the day or the evening or whatever. And not only does it grenade obviously the child that has cancer, but the family. So we've got, 2 other kids, an older and a younger sibling, and they're largely, sadly, set aside while you're just focusing on treatment to make sure that your child survives the treatment. The treatment is brutal.
Oh, it's so hard to hear this, but Mike, we are so sorry for what you've had to deal with. How is she doing now?
She's 2 years in remission, obviously on a prosthetic. She's actually back in school for the first time in 3 years. which is fantastic. And so, she's growing up and just acting like a normal kid, which is great.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You just took us through a whole wave of emotions.
The monies that they raise, not only does it go towards researching for a cure, but also for better treatments. Something like 95% of the kids who survive cancer will have health problems by the time that they're 50 related to the cancer that they had. So it's super important that we are able to fund these types of scientists, researchers, labs, big data, everybody just honing in on trying to find a cure for this.
Yeah, because what they do is, so brutal for their bodies, and they're so little, they're so hard to see them go through it. So Mike, we want to do whatever we can to help. Give your daughter a huge, huge hug from us, please. And, let people know, how can we help? How can we turn up and do back this great cause?
Yeah, for sure. The easiest way to do it is just to go to our brewery website, mikehessbrewing.com. And immediately when you get on the website, there'll be a pop-up. It says, help us raise $100,000. Click on the donate here. That'll take you to our official St. Baldrick's team page. You can do two things. You can just click right there on the donate button, or on the left-hand side, you can see the team members, the people who are getting shaved. And this is Mike Hess Brewing team members, plus just members of the general community and fans and people who are concerned, even parents of other kids who are going through cancer. But you can even select one of the shavees and donate directly to their towards their goal. But all that money goes towards the overall goal of raising $100,000 on one day.
All right, 100 grand. San Diego can do it. Let's come through. Are you going to be shaving your beautiful locks right there?
Not only I will, but my wife will be as well for the second time. So
that's amazing.
This is all ages, all sexes. Anybody who wants to get their head shaved by Mr. Brown's Barbershop, who bringing in the pros to do it, can join the team. All
right, and thanks to Mr. Brown's for making it out there. I'm looking forward to seeing how much hair that 45-year-old beard is going to look like come out with. So thank you so much, Mike. Good to see you this morning.
Thanks so much. I appreciate the time.